Yeah, I am.
Those are such a waste of your time.
Actually, do you know there are some benefits to video games? Are they supposed to die?
Sure.
I died.
You were getting fired. How did you get told?
Are you watching that TV again?
Yeah, I am. Why?
Well, that doesn't seem fair. You got on my case about video games. How is that any different?
It's completely different. TV is...
I'm sorry.
It's not a video game, Meredith. It's so much better.
Hey there! Here's the thing. I've heard this phrase so many times. You know, and honestly... Oh, it's over there? How's it... Whatever. Like I was saying, I've heard this phrase thousands of times. Video games will rot your brain. I've heard it from friends, family, relatives, distant and close, old and young, maybe leaning more toward the old side because it's a generational thing, but you get what I'm talking about. Video games will not rot your brain. They didn't rot my brain, and to address some unsubstantiated concerns that I've gotten over the years, my time with Grand Theft Auto hasn't made me a criminal yet. It hasn't given me any violent tendencies that I'm aware of. And, you know, I believe quite the contrary. Video games have made me a smarter, a nicer, a more friendly, and dare say a more aware person, you know. I'm aware of so much more that's going on around me. And we need to shut down this idea very quickly and very soon that video games are the root cause for violent behavior and aggressive tendencies, because that is just so far from the truth. So how did I do it? How did I pick my demographic? Well, let me tell you, I picked University of Idaho students for a few reasons. First and foremost being they're most relatable to me personally. I interact with a lot of people on a daily basis, you know, and coming to an informed opinion with those around us is really important. And second, you know, looking even at faculty and staff in the older generation, a lot of people that are parents, family members, or are looking to start their own family, this is a really important topic for them. Video games are continuing to just grow larger and larger, and soon, you know, it seems pretty likely that every child in America is going to be playing video games in some form. So get them prepped now. We need the knowledge out there right away to really curb stomp these misconceptions. I looked at not one, not two, but 3 different studies and journals produced by universities across the country that looked at video games and their behavior on mental health and cognitive effects in general. The first was a study by University of York that emphasized the importance of priming, and no, not the transformer, but instead priming and its effects or lack thereof on the connection between video games and real life behavior. There was none. There was no evidence to link those. The second, a study by Science Daily that looked at action games in particular and how they actually expand and enhance the brain's cognitive abilities. And the third, you guessed it was by Medical News Today. And what did this look at? This simply looked at how video games in general affect the brain and increase the stimulus. So what do we gain from this information? Well, let me tell you, video games boast a wealth of positive effects, and of course there will be negatives. Parental supervision, of course, it's required. Everyone knows it. There's a rating scale for a reason, similar to movies. Secondly, less, but not much less, language. This is something we always have to be cognizant of. Do we want our children, do we want our youngsters hearing words they shouldn't? Absolutely not. Once again, parental supervision and moderation is more important than ever. Always remember that moderation is key. Addiction's a real problem as presented here, and just really try to strike a good balance between this and everything else you have going on. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a lot of M-rated games out there. There's an Assassin's Creed there, Dying Light there, Bloodborne there, Detroit there, it's just being thrown in a Far Cry there. It's up to us to be smart and make sure our kids or people we know that are young are playing things that are at their level. Nothing too... Now that shouldn't be there. Anyways, let's get right back on track. The rating system exists for a reason, but ultimately it's up to us to foster our child's development. No, your 6-year-old shouldn't be playing Grand Theft Auto, but that doesn't mean it'll be harmful for them to play it when they turn 15 or so. Honestly, they might even learn a thing or two from it. So, with that in mind, let's go forward and push the positivity that video games can bring.